This video is supported by Rocket Railways for all your model railway needs. Please check the link in the description below. Hello and welcome back to Galgormhall for the very last episode in this current scratch build series. It's been quite a journey and hopefully you've learnt something along the way. In this last episode we're going to look just at a few final details to be added to the building, and there's a little bit of weathering to be done at the end as well. I've really enjoyed building this. I've enjoyed getting your comments along the way too, and hopefully there's something in this 7-part series that you will have found useful. I would like to put together a third series, but I haven't quite decided what that particular build will be. I need loads of stuff for the layout still to be built. I need a station for the branch line, for example, the big station over at Galgormhall itself. I have an engine shed to build. I have cottages and shops and water towers, those sort of things too. But what I wanted to do was to put it across to you. Is there something in particular that you would like to see me build? Something that maybe you could find of use on your own particular layout? You know, obviously it needs to have an element where when I build it I can maybe make use of it too on my own layout, but I'm more than happy sort of to leave it as an open book as it stands at the minute. And if you have any suggestions of things that you would like to have me to build next, please let me know in the comments below, or alternatively if you have photographs of things like that, you can also find my email address in the description below as well, and you can contact me through that too. And who knows, maybe it'll be something that you have suggested will be the next subject for season 3 of the scratch build series. But anyway, enough of me flanneling on. I hope you enjoy this very last episode, and I'll catch you again just at the end of the video. Alright? Before we move forward with this week's episode, I wanted to backtrack just for 1 minute. In the video on the internal detailing, I actually got a message, a comment within that video from subscriber Malcolm Crab, and who suggested that I use aluminium foil for the lead flashing on the roof. Now, I had never heard of it before, but I thought I'd take a look and see what it was all about, and I came across it on eBay, and for a sample roll of 1 meter long of this stuff here, it came in at 99p with free shipping, and I thought, well, that's a no-brainer. We'll buy that and we'll have a wee go and look at it. And this is the result that you get with it. Now, on first reflection, it seems to be a really good product, and I've got to say I really am quite impressed. I'm putting it on in exactly the same way that I was doing the previous stuff with the duct tape, but the beauty of this is, with it being a self-adhesive backing strip on it, well, one, you can mark out your dimensions that you need to cut on that paper at the back, plus this foil is it's not any thicker than the aluminium foil that you would use in your kitchen, and applies very, very easily. Like I say, I'm just putting it on exactly the same way as I did with the duct tape, but because it is a much finer material, it seems to go on much better than what the duct tape did itself. Now, the proof in the pudding will be whenever I prime this, and over time will that adhesive tackiness remain, but as it stands at the minute, it certainly won me over. Let's take a look at the lean-to at the back. I have been working at the painting effect that I want to try and achieve with that, and it's coming up quite nicely, so I thought I would just demonstrate to you how I'm sort of bringing up this sort of weathered paint look. Prior to that, I have applied a coat of satin matte 395. It's from REVELL, and it's their dark grey, and it's just to give that nice sheen that you get off corrugated sheeting. I'm then taking HUMBROL's they're matte 87. It's sort of like a pale blue. It's a colour that I've been using on my paint schemes throughout the build, you know, and such of the windowsills and that, so I thought it would make a perfect choice for the actual building itself. And much like doing the brick technique, I'm applying it on fairly heavily, but in this case here I'm not going to cover every panel or every section of it, just much like that there. And then with your kitchen paper we can wipe some of that away, and if you want to go heavier in certain areas, do so until you achieve the effect that you want. Now I'm going to try and keep everything in around the edges quite thick, where the wall would actually protect it to a certain degree, and maybe along the bottom a wee bit there too. And either by a combination of wiping or just dabbing, you can start blending those paints into the sheet, and just keep working at it until you're quite happy with it. Now I will come back once all this is dry and we will create some highlights and some rust highlights in it as well, but for the time being that just gets our initial layers of paint onto it. Before we fit the staircase, we need to fit the door handles to the two doors. Now for this I'm going to use a good old Pico track pin, and we're just going to snip the shaft off it to just leave a little bit at the top. Now if I'm honest, these are a little bit overscale, but I had a good rummage around the sewing box earlier on today looking for dressmaker's pins, and unfortunately anything in that was just, well, it was bigger again. So these will have to do for the time being, and at some future point I may well change over to something a little bit finer, but just with a blob of super glue they'll just go into the little hole that I've already made for it here, just drilling it with my pin vise. That one should be in the door down below. So like I say, they are a little bit overscale, but they'll work for the time being. A little touch of weathering on that will just help dull them down a wee bit. So we'll finish that top one there, and then I can actually go and fit the staircase. So just to show you that, the staircase has now been painted in my preferred colours, which is this sort of tealy coloured thing that's got a theme running through it throughout the layout, and then just it was a HUMBROL brown that I used for the steps. Now again, this will all get weathered down. I've also added the tiniest little shim of plastic just to the front of the door. One, it takes away the brick colouring that was there, but also as a couple of subscribers had commented in the last video, it did sit a little bit too high, and that just sort of ties it in much nicer now, and it will allow it to flow from the platform right through to the door. So I went ahead and I primed and then applied the first layer of paint to the roof. Now I've gone about it in my normal method, applying sort of a dark black acrylic paint right across the top of it, and then I've wiped the majority of that off with a piece of kitchen towel, and then just with that same paintbrush I've just sort of feathered it a little bit to try and create an element of variation in the rooftop. It does still need more work done on it, but that'll come at the end in the final stages of weathering. With regards to that aluminium foil, I hope you agree, I think personally it's an awful lot better of a product than what the duct tape was originally. There are a couple a little of silver marks have come through again with me wiping the paint away, but nothing that can't be touched up with a little bit of paint, and you know, in all honesty, that's as good as I could have asked for. So that has been done. The guttering has also been painted and is ready for its final piece of weathering, and the only other piece that has to be added to the roof is the little bit of the chimney from the stove inside. Now, in typical fashion, I have actually lost that piece that I cut out. Obviously thought it was rubbish and it went straight into the bin, but I have found a little piece of black tubing lying about the desk, and in actual fact I think it's just a bit of tubing from some wiring that I have stripped off, and it'll work absolutely perfectly. And if anything, it's maybe a little bit better because we have got the hollow center to it. So what I'm going to do is, if the roof is sitting as it should be, like so, the chimney or the stove pipe is there, which runs about the third row of tiles up, and then if we set it across this way, it runs about here. So if I put a drill, use my drill piece through that tile layer, that creates a hole, and then I can put my tubing just down in there, and the hole has gone right the way through, so it allows me to alter the tubing to whatever height I wish it to be. Now, I'm not sure in the case of these little pipes here whether they should have to extend up above the pitch of the roof. I think that might look a little bit odd. It may have only been for, you know, full chimneys to allow the smoke to dissipate. I'm not 100% sure, but you know what, we're just going to go with it as it is there. So I'm going to pop that in with a drop of super glue as well, just to make sure it stays good and proper. That'll add just a little added feature to the roof. Now, the final piece of material that actually has to be added to our building are the downspouts. Now, I have gone on ahead and I've made these downspouts. Now, I'm not going to show you how to make them on this particular video. I have done a standalone video on how I go about producing these downspouts, and if you click in the top right hand corner now, you should have a link to that particular video, which will allow you to go and view it and see how they're actually done. But once done, it's literally just drilling little holes to locate where they need to go to, and that is job done. So I will finish that, and then we are ready for the final pieces of weathering and toning down the brickwork and everything else before the close of this project. So there we have it. That's it, done. Well, I say done, it's more or less done. I would like to add a little bit more of weathering effects through powders and whatnot as well, just to really finish it off. But in terms of how it looks now for presentation wise for the end of this series, I think I'm more than happy to show it off as it is in its current state. I just want to say a big thank you again for all your support throughout this entire series. Your comments throughout every single episode have really been appreciated, and you know, from certainly the feedback that I'm getting, you really do enjoy these series that I'm doing. Don't forget what I said at the start of the video. If you do have a comment, or if you do have a suggestion for something for me to tackle in my next scratch build series, please do let me know in the comments below or via email. I'll leave you now with a few photographs just of the end result of this build, and I'll chat to you again soon. Bye bye now.